Hi guys, and welcome to the fourth week of Lasting Peace. I want to start today with a bit of a story. Yesterday I was introduced to one of the fittest women I have ever met. I've actually passed her out at the park a number of different times. She's the leader of a boot camp that goes out there for moms, and I've heard her yelling at her boot campers to pick up heavier weights or counting down their last few burpees or the seconds in the interval for their workout. And she is, by all means, strong, fit, thin, healthy. Well, it's interesting because the very first day I met her yesterday, or was first introduced to her, within the first 2 minutes of our conversation, she related to me that earlier that day someone had told her she looked pregnant. And that person, insensitive and unfeeling, had actually continued this faux pas even after she was corrected. No, I'm not pregnant. And my new friend was really distracted by this, and she told me, she said, it ruined my day. And so I can't speak for her motives, but I personally know what it's like to pursue fitness with all of my heart, to want to be the best at it, to be admired for it, to pour hours of energy into it, to read about it, and to want to become a professional. The problem is, it's elusive. There will always be somebody that's fitter, someone with the power to destroy the glory of my well-built physique. There will always be a new way to diet. There will always be someone who doesn't think I'm thin enough. There will always be someone who's stronger than me. And even without comparing myself to someone else, there will always, and particularly for me in my eating disorder, there was always a better way to diet, a better way to work out, to burn off those calories. I could never achieve it. I was never satisfied, no matter how thin I got or how hard I worked at it. If dealing with your eating disorder, you are forever analyzing and pursuing a better way to diet, to work off calories, to avoid eating out, then you have to admit you've never achieved your highest goal in this whole pursuit, this whole love for and longing for the ideal body. So here's the question. If we're talking about idolatry and addictions, eating disorders and such, as idolatry, what makes Jesus better? Why leave these other idols, these other pursuits for Jesus? What makes him worth it to pursue him above all of these other agendas and to forsake and give up and release all of these other things that we have pursued as more important? Here's a couple questions or a couple verses I want you to consider. Read Jeremiah 29:13 and Deuteronomy 4:29, and I'll tell you the answer right here. The number one reason that it is worth it to pursue Jesus above these other pursuits and to forsake them is because Jesus can be found. He's not elusive, and he tells you in these two verses that I have recommended that he will be found and he will satisfy those longings. He's not pie in the sky. You can have all of him. In conclusion, I want to share a quote with you from C.S. Lewis that I think sums this up and then almost makes you even more hungry for Jesus, if that's possible, because you can have all of him and still want more. This is C.S. Lewis. If we consider the unblushing promises of reward and the staggering nature of the rewards promised in the Gospels, it would seem that our Lord finds our desires not too strong, but too weak. We are half-hearted creatures, fooling about with drink and sex and ambition when infinite joy is offered to us, like an ignorant child who wants to go on making mud pies in a slum because he cannot imagine what is meant by the offer of a holiday at the sea. We are far too easily pleased. So, in conclusion, I want you to consider, what are you striving to be satisfied with? What is your mud pie? I ask you to think about how long you've been striving after this goal, if it's an eating disorder, after this goal for thinness, for perfection, for control, and never had the full satisfaction of achieving it. And here's one more verse that I will leave with you, and I will actually share the whole content with you so you don't have to go look this one up. It is in Isaiah. The Lord will guide you continually and satisfy your desire in scorched places and make your bones strong. And you shall be like a watered garden, like a spring of water, whose waters do not fail. So that sums it up. He's promised to satisfy every need and every longing. He is worth it. It is worth it to pursue him above all other longings because he can be found and he will not leave you wanting. Thanks. See you next week.